Welcome everybody to Be a Voice. This is Britt Carpenter on Usula Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And thank you to all those out there who are viewing today on YouTube Live or through our Usula feed on Facebook for tuning in today during, during May, because I think I'm at this point in time a little bit sick of saying during these crazy times or during these uncertain times. Even though they are, I just think that it's established at this point in time. So, but yeah, thanks for tuning in today. I'm really excited about today's show because I am able to sit down and talk with one of my best friends, Gina Gannon. Hi, Gina.
Hello. So happy.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Gina, before we get started and, we talk to the people, we talk about who you are and everything. Did you go to school for IT by any chance?
I'm so sorry. I had so many computer issues before this. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh. Gina and I were supposed to start about a half an hour ago. So there's a half hour of my life I'll never get back. So I'll bill you for that, my friend.
Totally apologize.
Oh my gosh, you're fine. You're fine. I had enough time within that half hour to talk a lot of crap about you to Dylan. So it was perfect. But anyway, G, it's been a few years since we've met. It's probably been a good 3 years since we've met, which is a long time in Philly for friendships because people are very transient, and because I got to be honest, I think a lot of times in Philly when you meet people, that first impression is amazing, and sometimes the second and third sort of dwindles, and it's not right, and that's cool because not everybody's meant to mesh a little bit. And that's just my opinion. That's just me talking, And you know me, I try to keep it real as real as possible.
For sure.
Yeah, always. But when I first met you, not the time I emailed you, or not the time I requested you as a friend on Facebook.
I don't know him. I'm not responding.
I totally forgot about that until I started talking right now. I'm like, right on. But I I know who you are. I got to know you very well, and you are one of my best friends, and I think you're an amazing person and individual, regardless of some of your flaws, like your lack of computer skills and stuff like that.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Or the fact that that you moved a little bit too far away from me. Before you were in like the Northeast where I needed a passport. Now I don't even know where you are. I think it's like a different country, like even more different country or planet. But anyway, who are you, Gina?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, but who the hell are you? Tell my listeners, who is Gina Gannon?
Do you want me to talk about my job or just in general who I am?
All of it. Tell me, who are you?
So my name is Gina Gannon. I grew up in Northeast Philadelphia. Shout out to Northeast.
Oh, geez.
So I started my career in television probably about 10 years ago.
You were 12?
Yes. Can you believe it?
Couple in the making.
I know. I started my career actually interning at NBC 10, which was pretty cool, on a show called The 10 Show. I already knew I wanted to be on television, but that just kind of solidified it and really just showed me how much I loved live television. And then from there, I just sort of worked my way on camera, and I worked as a shore traffic reporter for the station. And then from there, I worked at a company called Tango Traffic doing live 24-hour traffic, which was awesome. I was already a traffic reporter, so that kind of fit. Then from there, I had my dream job of working at QVC. And then I'm still at QVC, although I'm doing something a little different now. I sell food on QVC.
When you started with QVC, you started with actually somebody that a lot of ladies and men out there probably know, but who were you working for and what were you doing there at QVC?
Yeah, so I used to sell Wen hair care products. Chaz Dean is the creator. I was his backup guest. So since I lived locally in Philadelphia, it was a perfect fit because he's like, she's local, she can go into the studio all the time, she loves the products, which I do, still use them. And it was just a great fit. And for me, that really just launched my career into QVC. I was fortunate to travel to the UK, Japan, Canada, all on air. And it was just really cool to learn all the different techniques that all different markets have and what sells in different markets and stuff like that. It was really cool. And then now on QVC, I sell
Oh
food.
my gosh, food right up your alley. Oh my gosh, you love to eat.
I do love to eat, especially desserts. I feel
and
like, I
and
love desserts.
guys, don't ever challenge her to eat disco fries because she will nail them, and you will
But
be
I,
like
I
sitting
won't order
there.
them myself. I always
Yeah,
feel too good. I won't order them myself. But my friends like Britt know me enough to know that as soon as we sit down, it's disco fries.
disco fries, but the thing is, she won't order them, but she'll eat them
Yeah.
herself.
And then so I'm doing food at QVC, and I also work on 6ABC. I
Right.
feel like doing traffic as well as a couple of their featured and sponsored segments. Like I do a couple of their Shelter Me segments. I do weekend extras. It's just really, really a fun job.
You actually, and it's funny because with all that, you have a diverse talent. I mean, because
Thank you.
well, number one, you didn't mention, and I know this because I know you, that the job that you got at NBC 10 was because you just walked in
Mhm.
and you demanded, you told them, you're hiring me, and you're going to, and they did. And I think that's sort of what they look for. They want somebody who's going to take charge, who's going to be assertive, you know,
Yeah.
and that works, and it worked for you.
Yeah, because you know what? It was at the time when we were in a recession, which I'm like, isn't that now? But
I did that the other day too to Christy. I was on there with Christy Aletto, and she was like 10 years ago during the recession. I'm like, I think we're sort of in that now. But
I
anyway,
know it's crazy.
see, good minds.
I know, see? But yeah, so it was during the recession, like right around 2008, 2009, and everyone from the company was getting laid off. And so I was guaranteed a job as an audience coordinator on the 10 show. And
Is that
I,
still on air, the 10 show?
no, it's not.
Okay. I mean, I don't really watch.
That's okay. I don't really watch that anymore either. I was still trying to figure, my way. And they were like, oh, I was just graduating college. And they said, oh, you're going to be our audience coordinator for the 10 show. And I thought, great. 3 days before I graduated, they were like, well, we just want to let you know that you got the job, but it doesn't exist anymore. And it was supposed to be a 1-year contracted job, but they were cutting all the jobs. So it's like, I guess I was happy I got it, but it no longer existed. So
I was hired.
Gina Gannon do? She's like, okay, I gotta figure this out. I gotta hit the ground running. What am I gonna do? So that was again, I was graduating. I had 7 part-time jobs, all at like different local radio stations doing promotions, different TV stations doing promotions. I was doing promotions at NBC 10, PHL 17, 97.5 The Fanatic. Um, where else? God, there were so many. Anyway, I just had a bunch. And that just kind of made me hungry. And then one day I still had my badge from NBC 10 wiped, and I went in one day and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm, gonna go see the news director. And they all knew me and I knew his secretary and I was like, hey, I might stop by. And she's like, okay. And so I stopped by and I was like, can I talk to him? And she's like, yeah, go ahead. So I went in and I was just like, hey, listen, like I'm dying not working. Like, I want to be working in the field. And I said, I really want to do traffic. Is there any way you can initiate just a meeting so I can learn how to do the traffic? I said, you don't have to do anything for me, but just give me the opportunity. And I feel like in every business and every career, one opportunity can change everything for you. And so I got my one opportunity and from there, then I had to learn all the skills to be a traffic reporter, how to just talk off the cuff, how to know all the Philly roadways. And being a Philly girl, you think you know until you have to learn every single roadway. And then you know how to learn how to use the green screen, which is a different process. And so it was really cool. And then I finally got approved to be a shore traffic reporter. And that's how it kind of all started.
Did you have to go down to the shore for that, or did you still do it from up here?
No, it was from the studio up here. We just would only do the shore routes and
Right.
cameras of, the
So
Floyd.
you got to know the roadways in both, PA, New Jersey, Delaware, all over,
Yeah,
in
we
all
did.
the places.
Mhm.
And which is interesting because when you're from Philly, the other areas exist, but
Right.
like you don't know those routes or where you're going or how to get there. And all of a sudden you've learned these. And let alone on a green screen. So that this green screen thing, like, how do you know what you're pointing to, Gina?
So it's really funny. People think that you're actually looking behind you at the green screen, but you're not. The green screen's just behind you. When you turn and when you're looking this way and you're pointing, you're actually looking at yourself on TV. So what the
Oh,
viewers are seeing when they see me point and, point at
you're
the,
pointing at the screen you're looking at.
I'm actually pointing at a TV with myself on it.
So that translates then to the green screen of what you're pointing to on the TV. So
Yes,
really what you're pointing to on the TV you're looking at wouldn't like match up on the green screen if it was what you're pointing to. Does that make sense?
kind of
You're
yes and
sort
kind
of
of,
pointing to the side here, but this way you're actually pointing differently, correct?
yeah, it's kind of like they transpose it a little bit. So
Yeah,
sort of like
yeah,
if I'm going like this on a
yes,
green screen, it would look probably like this.
yeah. It's weird. I know what you mean. Yeah.
But when you look at it on the TV, you're just normal. You're just like, oh, this is like now it just is so easy for me. It doesn't feel weird. But you have to learn like all the little, like you have to learn who you are, how, you want to portray yourself. And so that was something that I had to learn because when I first was doing traffic, I would be like, 42 freeway. And they're like,
That
this
used to
isn't
be
the price.
yours on The Price is Right.
And that's exactly what they would always say. Your very price is right. Um, but that kind of was me. Like I kind of am just like that anyway.
I was gonna say that's you though.
Like,
That's you. Yeah.
so I had to find things that worked for me because a lot of the critiques I was getting at that time was like, you really need to fix how you point. Like you point very feminine. I'm like, well, I am very feminine.
Well,
Um,
thank you very much.
right. So I was like, then I was being awkward because I'm trying to like not be so feminine pointing. And so then I'm like, uh, so then eventually I just had to do me. And now I'm just like, no, here it is. There you go.
And you're good. You're natural up there, and you like traffic.
I do.
Yeah.
I just was someone like when I went to school, I went for communications, not journalism, because for me, I liked to just be sort of well-rounded in advertising, journalism, film, broadcasting. I really wanted to have like a nice scope of it all. And so I ne I'm just somebody, I'm very emotional. So I would never be able to go out on a shoot and be like, how do you feel? Because I'd be crying with them. So that would never work for me. And so, but I thought traffic is something that, I've sat in traffic my entire life working in Center City and doing all that. It's something where it's still sort of hard news, but it's easier to digest for me. Um,
Nice.
so that's why I just felt like it was a good fit.
It's a good niche for you. That's
Thanks.
amazing. You do sometimes FYI segments.
On
You
Channel
shop
6.
for me, and that fits you so well because you love dogs and you have two adorable dogs. One you favor more than the other, but that's
I love both of them equally.
is one older than the other, or are they the same age?
So Mia just turned 10 and Mia just turned 11 and Coco's 10 and a half. So they're like 6 months.
Oh, well, that's why you like Mia so much. She's the oldest.
Yeah, she's my
Oh
firstborn.
yeah, and that's why she gets more pictures. Everything. My mom explained that to me about me and my brother. I'm like, Jimmy has more pictures. She's like, well, you always take more pictures of your firstborn. I'm like, that's bull crap, mom.
You're
So
like, thanks, mom.
yeah, really. I'm like, you like him, but that's okay. I don't care. I don't care.
I just feel like Mia has more of my personality than Coco. Like,
And that's probably why I like Coco because Coco's probably
right. Like Mia's needy. She like needs to be with people. Coco's like, all right, I'm cool. I'm
yeah.
safe.
What's up?
And
I'm
I'm
just
like,
gonna chill here.
you need to need me. I need you to need me.
um, you also were doing some cooking segments. You were doing cooking with Alessi or cooking in the kitchen. What was it? What's it called?
Yep. So on FYI, we have a segment called In the Kitchen with Alessi. It's a company, it's an Italian specialty company, and they sell a lot of products that you can find at your local supermarket and things like that. They have really great olive oil, they have great pine nuts, just fantastic, fantastic ingredients. And what we do is I interview nutritionists who work for local supermarkets. And so we give you recipes using all of our Alessi products.
And you get to cook them there. You cook them on air. You make them, and you've gone to some cool locations. You've gone, you get to go to some great places. You get to actually get out in the community too and meet people like at the Manny Young Arts Fest. You go up to Steel Stacks when they have it up at the Music Fest, and you get
Yeah.
to be on the road. You get to go to the, what you call it, the auto, what is that?
Auto show, yeah.
Auto show, the black tie affair. I don't even get to go to that.
Super
You
fun.
know,
I do a
if
lot
Britt James doesn't get to go to the auto show.
I did a Facebook Live for that. It was really cool. I do Facebook Lives a lot. And I actually do a lot of like live event hosting as well.
So you do a lot of Facebook Lives, and I got to tell you, you do a lot of Facebook Lives personally too, like for yourself. You're on there a lot. So are you comfortable like in an MMJ sort of capacity? Do you know how to edit, or just know how to do the recording and look good?
Yeah, I'm not an editor. Couldn't even get on the computer today, so clearly no. Not an editor, but I mean, I would be very open to doing MMJ stuff, except for the editing aspect. Yes.
Well, I get it. Me too. Me too. Like if I could ever get a job in like media or broadcast and they need MMJ, I could do it all. Then I would hire somebody to do the editing for me.
Right.
Like a starving kid right out of college who's hungry for money, part-time. Here you go. I'm only going to be making $12,000 a year. I'll give you 2,000 of that.
Listen, if you're trying to get in, that's what you got to do. But you would be so good at that. You should try and be an MMJ. You're so good.
I know, but like I gotta tell you though, I think about that, and I think about like, you know, well, number one, I can control my language. I am from Allentown area, but that doesn't mean I can't. I mean, you're from Northeast, and you don't curse on air, so.
You do?
No, that's it. Like I would be afraid. I have to like try so hard sometimes, like to not say things, even on this, because you know this is radio. I can't say words like on radio. Dylan would have to bleep them out, you know, and that's embarrassing sometimes, especially if you're not thinking. Some people, but also I think about like in social media myself. I'm very outspoken, and I often think that doesn't really jive very well sometimes in media, because media is not supposed to be like that.
Yeah, you're supposed to be very neutral.
Very neutral. Even though you want to be, and everybody in media has that attitude or opinion, but you had to be very neutral. And I think my past would tarnish anybody who would want to hire me.
Maybe.
I would have to delete my Facebook account, hide my Instagram account, start a whole brand new one, but you know.
That's so funny.
So how you doing right now with the pandemic? Last time I saw you was a week before all hell broke loose. I can say hell. I like that. That's cool. But all hell broke loose. And this, you know, the pandemic happened. I mean, it was exactly a week before, basically. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
you know, I saw you. How you been holding up during all this? I mean, you haven't been able to be on air much.
Yeah, so at QVC, they're not even having on-air guests go on. So my business is completely down. But again, everyone's in the same boat. So it almost in a way doesn't feel as bad, because people sympathize with you because they're living what you're living. You know, you're all kind of in the same boat.
Yep, absolutely. We're empathizing, you know, like I mean, you know, we're all living our own little personal hell right now. And, you know, it's ours, and it's a little bit different than mine's, different than yours for sure, you know, but we are all in it together. And it is a concept I think people have to really grasp a little bit more. And, you know, I firmly believe that we'll get through it, because people like yourself and like me, we've come to where we are because we've worked hard to get to that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
it's just really hard for me. Like, I don't know about you, but I am really over the self-isolation, the quarantine. Like, I am just, you don't realize how sometimes, like during the day, like I feel so sad. And that's not me.
I've cried.
Oh,
I've cried. You know, I was walking the dogs one day, and I saw a cardinal fly by me, and it was, of course, in my mind, there goes my dad. I was like, "You're laughing at me. I know you are." You know, but you know, like I think everybody's a little bit different. I think this is also a good time, though, Gina, for all of us to maybe reset.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think it's, you know, I've been able to do some things that I wouldn't have done before. I've been baking, although I've been eating a lot. So
I've been watching. I gotta tell you, there's one dish you've made recently that I was gonna reach out to you and text you and say, would you deliver? What's that?
You can eat it, right? The pasta and peas?
The pasta and peas was one, but the broccoli,
Oh my gosh, it's so good, Britt.
Whoa, yeah. You know where I live? I take drop off. I have a window that goes right to the porch. I could reach out to you and grab it. I have a mask. Come on now.
I actually have a couple things that I can be bringing you for Philly Unknown project too. But I would love to drop you off some broccoli. It's so simple and easy.
I
It
got my
is,
own little to-go containers I can give you.
yes, not, but listen, the thing is, I am not someone who's like, ooh, vegetables, love them.
I've
No.
been going to ask you about that too, because I'm like, you've been doing more vegetable stuff than I've seen meat stuff. And before you were pretty much a red meat. You like your red meat. You like every food. You're really, you don't discriminate with food. You are very
I had
open to
rabbit last
anything.
night.
You what?
We had rabbit last night.
Poor
I know,
Bugs
I'm
Bunny.
sorry.
Poor Bugs
I
Bunny.
love animals too, but
All my dogs and cats, their ears just went up and were like, Gina Gannon had rabbit. The dogs are cool with it though. My dogs are okay with that. It's the food chain. I'm sorry. I'm a vegetarian, but I'm not like that, so I get it. But you know, to each their own. Who am I to judge who's eating what? You know what I mean? You know, as long as you don't hurt me or an animal, I'm cool. You know,
yeah, I would
the
not.
animal was already hurt. You know, gone the rabbit. But anyway, how was the rabbit?
It was good, but let's talk about the broccoli. So, let me tell you how to make the broccoli. It's so easy. You literally just get a head of broccoli. I clean it off, and then I get just a baking sheet, spray it with that olive oil spray, cut up some garlic. I cut up 2 cloves of garlic, just really mince it. Put the broccoli on the pan, spray the
Say
top of
it
the
again.
broccoli with the olive oil, throw the garlic on top, kind of just mix it all, into the on the pan. And then you bake it in the oven for 450 degrees for like 20, 25 minutes. And it is so good. So like I literally eat it like I'm eating popcorn. And I don't do that.
Now I want that. Now I'm like really hungry for that. It's
It's
like,
so
oh
good.
my
I'll
gosh.
make it for
The
you.
only problem with me is like I don't. I've never used my oven one time in 6 years here.
Are you serious?
I
Why?
have a little convection oven, toaster convection oven that my mother bought me like 10 years ago, and it's in great shape and everything. I make everything in that I need to heat up in there. So
We
I'd have to.
do that.
Oh, I would do that then because then what happens is like then your oven gets dirty. Then you got to clean it.
Do you though?
Like then it smells like grease and stuff like that. And I'm like so weird, like OCD bad enough dog hair. I don't need an oven dirty. That's why people always say, why don't you cook? Because like the other night I was cooking. I've been doing a lot more cooking because
Oh,
I have to,
good.
you know. Yeah, and I've been enjoying it because I do enjoy it, but like I'm not that good at it. But you know, I was making something and then like, you know, when you have like oil in the pan, and sometimes it will come out on the stove. It's gonna splatter. That's what oil does when it's hot. It splatters unless you put an oil guard. Even if you put the splatter guard on, it still splatters through the screen. You know, the lid, you don't want the lid on too much. But anyway, I find myself as I'm cooking and it's splattering, I'm cleaning around my cooking.
Oh my gosh.
So you have to understand, like cooking for me gives me a lot of anxiety.
Oh my god. That's why you order out a lot?
Yes, yes. But right now with the pandemic, I've been eating in a lot because it's cheaper, it's more affordable, you know. But I'm pretty consistent with what I make and stuff, you know. Especially since I am vegetarian, I do a lot of the plant-based stuff, you know. But
Yeah.
it's been, you know, whatever. Have you been doing any reading or
I
watching a Netflix or series or anything?
Yeah, so we definitely have, watching our fair share of Netflix and, Tiger King, of course, watched that whole series.
So you watched it. You remember episode 2 in Tiger King?
Uh-huh.
Um, in episode 2, there was like this video, and there was this redheaded woman singing about the tigers, and she's like flamboyantly singing about tigers in the video. Remember that?
No.
Yeah. In 1999, when I was in Tampa and I worked in Tampa, she was on my team,
Oh my god.
and she was the same back then. And
Oh, okay.
that's on the video. So that was just a weird connection when I, you know, her being in that. Really bizarre. Tiger King. I haven't seen the whole thing, and I'm not sure I really want to finish it just because, like, you know, Carol Baskin did it. The dude's a crazy dude, and I have enough of that shit in my own life.
It's kinda like you watch the first episode, you kinda get it. You probably don't even have to watch all 6 or 7 of them, but so I've been doing a lot of Netflix, been doing a lot of reading. For me right now, I need to read things that are motivational because like I said, in quarantine, it's definitely been affecting me. And so I need as much positive reinforcement as I can. So I've been reading books like The Secret. And
Okay,
yeah,
nice. Yeah,
so The Secret, if anyone's not familiar,
I read that years and years ago. I should go revisit that. Go, okay, go explain it.
it's true. Let me tell you something. So I read The Secret when I was like 16 for the first time. And I'm like, this isn't working. Like, this isn't true. And then I found in different parts of my life, I would find The Secret again. I would read it and be like, wow, I always felt like at a certain period of my life, I needed to hear what The Secret was telling me. So anyway, The Secret in general is all about manifesting, and your words turn into your life. So if you keep saying, oh, I don't want to be late for work. I don't want to be late for work. You are creating being late for work. Even if you're saying, I don't want to be late and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that, the universe does not hear the no and the I don't. It just hears what you want. It's sort of like Aladdin and a genie lamp. What do you want? The universe will deliver. So during quarantine, I've been trying to speak positively and speak with, positive words of affirmation about things that I want. Every day I write down in a journal, like, this is what I want my life to be, and make it very positive. Because again, what you speak about, you bring about. So,
Well, I was just saying this. I'm going to bring this up. This is you probably heard this before, and it's one of my it's probably like one of my most favorite like motivational things when I have to like think about like what brings me to where I'm at and what gets you to that ultimate level. And hold on, if it um, oh, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny.
so true.
And I've probably 30 years ago, I heard that. And I've always remembered that. And I think that's why today, like what you just said, like The Secret fits into that. You've got
Yeah.
to, what your talk, your self-talk really will affect who you are and what you become.
Yeah. And it's just, if you're someone who's complaining all the time and you're saying like, oh God, money's so tight, things are so hard, you're creating staying in that environment of making it be hard. And like, look, I know with money, it's so different for everyone. But what I mean by that is if you just keep saying like, oh, another bill, another bill, another bill, you're going to keep seeing that because you're not breaking the cycle of being like, I'm going to get a check today.
Yeah, and and I found myself recently being like that, because of this. I had very much the woe is me syndrome. Sometimes I still do. And it's okay because it is affecting me. I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. I don't know what 12 o'clock is going to bring. You know what I mean?
And
However, more recently I have been doing more positive self-talk to be able to feel better about the situation I'm in. So you're like 100% right. Plus, I've been doing a lot of meditation when I can. Have you tried meditating?
did you just say meditating or
Meditation?
oh yes. So I've been
Did you try medicating?
that's what I thought you were saying, like
You're
medicating.
like Xanax? What? No.
The meditating I have, although
Wine.
I actually find it to be a challenge though, like because I feel like there's no like I'm sorry, what'd you say, Britt?
It is a challenge.
It is. Like I find it to be hard. Like I'm like, am I meditating right now? Like, is this actually like the thoughts I'm supposed to be thinking about? Like, but I think that's the thing with meditating. There's no rules and it's not like, oh, when you go into your head, this has to happen. I think sometimes just your thoughts coming as they come is part of meditating. But I just find it to be challenging though, because then sometimes I'm like, should I be meditating about this? Like, when am I going to actually come to that? Like, haha, this is what you're supposed to be meditating about.
Well, it's funny because for me, like I know like people like, every day they do it, they've been doing this, daily meditations, stuff like that. And it's hard. It's hard to maintain, consistency and daily routine, especially nowadays, even though people are home and they are self, it's hard to, to do that. But what I do is I find myself doing it when I feel like myself out of balance or out of whack with like what I believe in, or my principles or my values or my emotional, or if I get to that point where I become that irate person that I don't recognize that I'm like borderline sociopathic or something like that, then I'll do it. And it's funny. And if I were more consistent with it, maybe I wouldn't get to that point ever. I don't know. So
Mhm.
but I think I just have to be consistent.
Yeah. And I think that's true, like consistency with anything. On top of the secret, I find um, gratitude really helps during this time, especially when you think about all the things that you do have amidst a pandemic. It's like, well, my family is healthy. That's huge. Like, that is something that's during this time. Oh my God, why am I getting emotional? See, this is why I could never be a hard news reporter. Anyway, um, literally
Are you
help
crying?
a little bit.
Do you have waterproof mascara on?
No, it's okay. It's all good. But it's true. I really just try and be as positive as I can, because when you think about how grateful you are for the things that you have, it just kind of changes your perspective. Even when I'm in the shower, I'm like, thank you for my hot water. When I'm drinking coffee, I'm like, thank you for the warm coffee. It's just like little things that I think have really helped me during this time.
And you're absolutely right. And for me, because of the nonprofit and what I do, with outreach and everything like that, that's always been very cathartic for me, and it's always been just something that really helps me balance myself, and it's a mission of mine. So, but last night we did outreach, and prior to doing outreach, I was in this like weird funk. Like I had gotten back from like doing my essential work that I have to do every day from like 10:30 to 3 or something, and I think that's been giving me anxiety because I'm out there doing this essential work and I have to be out there and people rely upon me for it. So it's like, and I get anxiety because the other people out there are giving me anxiety who aren't, following or social responsibility. Hey,
That-
you don't want to wear a mask? That's cool. You do you, I'll do me, but don't interfere with it.
Yeah, but
Have responsibility and respect for me if I'm walking by with it. And sometimes I forget that if there's other people around, but then I have the decency to put it on if I see people coming. If I'm walking in the woods here by my house, I may not have the mask on.
yeah,
Somebody walks by me though, you can bet your butt I'm pulling it out of my pocket and it's going over my face because
right.
it's social. But if I'm walking around the city, you have to have that on.
Yeah.
Um, people don't. But like I got home, but like last night I was like feeling that real funk when I got in from all of it. But went out last night and I did some outreach and connected with some people that I know. Some of those are most vulnerable and our friends out there that I have known for years that I haven't seen for a while. And it made me feel good to know that they're around doing well. And then I think about where they're at and where I'm at, and
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it puts things in perspective.
It really does. I mean, even yesterday, I went out into the city for the first time in Center City to pick up a couple things. And,
What food did you pick up?
what'd you say?
What food did you pick up?
I actually went to Bruno
I
Brothers.
knew it.
It was really fun.
I know you.
The thing with Bruno Brothers right now, the thing that's not the same is like I always ask for samples. So like as they're cutting the meat, I'm like, can I try that? They don't do that now. Even at the cheese counter, I was like, oh, like talking to the guy about the cheese, and I'm like, oh, I was like, can I try that? He's like, oh, we can't do that. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, I can't commit to buying a hunk of cheese if I don't know what it tastes like what it tastes like first. I'm like, I was like, I'm gonna have to just pass, but thank you. But I got a lot of really great lunch, like a lot of great meat. So,
Nice, nice. And how'd you feel when you're out?
I don't I feel safe when I'm out because I myself always have a mask on. Again, I believe in the power of the secret. So I think if I just keep saying, I feel safe, I feel healthy, that's what I'm gonna put out there. I have a friend and he's always like, I'm so nervous and I'm afraid I'm gonna get sick. And I'm like, you're gonna will that to you. Like, don't think like that. So that's why I don't really feel nervous when I'm out, because I'm like, you know what? I'm healthy. I'm doing the precaution with wearing a mask, and I don't go near people. I mean, I keep social distancing in place. So I don't really feel as nervous, but again, you never know. But again, just try to stay with the secret and just put the positive thoughts out there, not the negative.
Yeah, and and it's hard, especially times like this. So to be able to do that, that's awesome. You
Well,
know, um,
not that easy, but
so everything you just said speaks true to everybody, and they should probably listen to that and probably read it.
Oh yeah, I just feel like no matter who you are, where you come from, what religion you are, I mean, everyone can benefit from it because it's not even about religion. It's just about your thoughts. And exactly that quote that you said. I mean, your thoughts create your life. You've manifested it in some way. And I've always been a big believer in manifesting and things like that. I mean, there are times I remember as a child, I would just daydream about being on television and, the life that I would want. And I'm like, I always believed it was going to happen. And so I mean, and I also like worked really hard too to get there. But go ahead.
I would say, but the reason you worked hard to get there is because those were the words you kept instilling in yourself.
Yeah. And I just always believed it.
You
Like,
created your destiny.
yeah, you know, and it was so hard at first because it's like, I'm Gina Gannon from the Northeast. I had no connections. My parents weren't in the industry. They like, a lot of times that helps when you have someone in your family that can get you in or, that give you that foot in the door. I didn't have anything like that. So I'm like, how am I going to do this? But then as you go through, oh my God, look at this like hair. I'm like, I feel like I'm like dealing with static. But anyway,
what you need to do is you need to close that little window where you can see yourself.
well, you're good. Anyway,
and you wouldn't worry about it because you look fine.
I mean, it just kept like sticking like near my face. I felt like, but anyway, and then I just feel like too, when you keep thinking about the job you want, little tiny opportunities open up that lead you to the right path. Because, for example, when I knew I wanted to be on QVC, I sent QVC 6 audition tapes. I literally would just like sell things in my kitchen and be like, well, and then I even did a really professional one. And every time they were like, thank you, thank you. Like, so after the 6th tape, they said, can you please stop sending us tapes? Like, like, please, like,
Did they really?
I mean, not in that language, but it was pretty much like, okay, thank you.
Stop,
Like,
enough's enough.
yeah. And I was just like, well, don't have a job yet. So until I get a job, you're going to be getting tapes. And it was just so funny because an opportunity happened so unexpectedly when I was working at a traffic station. I was just putting my head down, grinding, trying to do what I can. And a friend of mine said, oh my God, gee, they're having open auditions for on-air guests. You should go. And at the audition, they're like, you just look so familiar. Like, well, maybe
like, it's her. Security, get in here. Security.
But it's just so funny because that little opportunity of me, going on that audition, then they were like, wow, like, you're really good.
They recognized you though. That was the whole thing too. They recognized you. Had you not sent in 6 audition tapes, you would have just been another face in one of the thousands of tapes that they received.
Right.
But you did 6 of them, which is a lot. But guess what? Persistency gets you to where you are.
Yeah.
And you created a life for yourself. That's amazing. And even, I gotta be honest, Gina, like even in the last 3 years that, I've known you, I've seen you create a life for yourself that has evolved greatly.
Thank you.
Like, and to me that I'm so proud of that. I find that amazing. It's inspiring.
I feel like the same with you. If I could be like half as good as you, that would be amazing. With all of your social outreach, oh my God, why do I keep crying? What is happening? You're like, oh yeah, the last one I did was so funny. This one, I'm like,
it's okay. It's okay. This is what it's about. We're human. I love this because you're doing this. This makes me happy because this is what Be a Voice was about. It was about showing somebody on the human side of who they really are. People only ever see you as Gina Gannon TV host.
Right. Yeah.
Not many people get to sit down like this and get to know Gina Gannon, and you're allowed to. You're human, and I love it because it shows everybody else out there that it's okay to be you. So thanks. Cry away.
What did you say?
So thanks. Go ahead and cry away.
But that's the thing. It's like I think we're all going through this together. So allow yourself to have those little moments, and if you need to get a good cry out, call me because listen, I am always there for a good cry. But you know what? And also, like, I think too, during this time, most importantly, check in on people, especially if you know that people live on their own. I mean, I know that I've been checking in on my parents so much because, they're older, that it's just, if you know that people are living on their own or if they're a little older, just check in on them because it's just nice to know that people are caring about you. And it's just like, oh, wow, thanks. So,
Unless you call my mom and I'm like, hey mom, she's like, oh, hi Britt. Like you're calling me again. But then again, that's not just during the pandemic. That's any time with my mom. So
what do you need?
I told my mom, I'm like, go
Love
to the store in the morning, like the 7 to 8 time frame when, the senior citizens are allowed.
Oh, don't say that to her.
She was like, I don't want to go when all those old people are there. I'm like, no. You gotta love that spunk in her. That's amazing.
I know. My dad's 72 and he does not think he's 72. And I'll be like, oh, dad, I'll be like, before all of this, when we would go to like different restaurants and we would go to the dining car in the Northeast, I'm like, oh, here's your senior citizen discount. And he'd be like, but I'm not a senior. I'm like, no, you are. Use it and milk it for as much as you can.
I don't know if my mom does that or she's gonna be 78 this year.
Oh, wow.
Rosie's gonna be 78. Yeah.
Amazing.
She can't go to the gym. She goes to the gym 3 days a week. She can't go right now.
Oh, that's really.
She was sitting in the house. What are you doing? I'm watching TV. And I got Netflix for my parents like 10 years ago. I've been paying for Netflix for them for like the past 10 years, and she's been Netflixing. So I told her to watch Ozark.
Everyone's been talking about that. I heard it's fantastic.
One of my favorites. I haven't seen the full 3rd season, so I don't want to talk about it right now. But there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, and we've all just been going through some crazy times. But it's it's that mind frame that you said, keeping that mind.
It's easier said than done. It really is, but it's just something that it's easier for you to go negative and to go into that like it takes a lot more work to be positive. So it's definitely hard and it is a challenge, but sometimes it just makes me feel better after because then I'm like, whew, wow, like it's really not so bad. And just kind of helps you get through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Have you been in? So when are we able to get those donuts again from that farmer's market out your way?
So I can go on Thursday. They're open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Oh.
They're the best cream donuts ever.
So they're open today?
Oh yeah, they are. Uh-huh.
And tomorrow? It's gonna rain though. Are they open in the rain?
Oh yeah, it's inside.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a Reading terminal like type.
Oh. So. Putting that on my calendar. We're going out to no man's land tomorrow.
That's right. Come and visit me. We'll eat cream donuts 6 feet apart.
I'll just bring scare masks, Oh, Gina, we're winding down. We're coming to the end here, and I just want to say thank you so much for just being you, for sharing with my listeners and for everybody all the time. Yourself, who you are, your opinions, your attitudes, your beliefs, and they're always so uplifting. And I love hanging out with you just for the simple fact that we always have such a blast, and I always laugh so hard.
I always laugh so much when I'm with you. I'm like,
yeah,
so bad. I love it.
So Gina, if people want to see you, they can tune in when you are doing traffic on air on 6ABC when you're on the air. And you can always find out because you can follow you on Instagram, which is what?
Just at Gina Gannon, GinaGannon.
And real quick, you started a food one recently, didn't you?
I did. It's Gina Gannon Eats. It's where I just share a lot of different recipes and things I enjoy.
And Facebook. What's your Facebook?
Gina Gannon.
And do you have a website?
I do. GinaGannon.com. I make it very easy.
Gosh, your branding is amazing. I love it. Gina Gannon. That's all you got to do. Put it into the, Gina, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
So late.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We did it. So I love you, sweetie. You're one of the most amazing. Everybody else out there, Dylan, thank you so much for your patience this morning and for hanging out with us on the other line there, Dylan. And for everybody else out there, remember, whatever it is you stand for, be a voice, be safe, be well, be you. This is Britt Carpenter on Usula Radio. Have a great rest of your day.